I got 6:30. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Town of Waukesha Town Board meeting for May 24th, 2018, beginning at 6:30 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have any volunteers to lead us?
I will.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Madam Clerk, have we met the opens meeting law requirements?
Yes, we have.
And we could begin with citizens' comments.
Should I do a roll call?
Oh, let's do a roll call.
Chairman Merrick?
Present.
Supervisor Fisher?
Here.
Supervisor Wolf?
Here.
Supervisor Ake?
Here.
Supervisor Durr?
Now we can begin with citizens' comments. Going once, going twice. Then we can move on to the meeting minutes of May 10, 2018. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes of May 10th, 2018.
And a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to 7 reports, beginning with the clerk treasurer.
Okay, the treasurer's report. Our general fund revenues are at 65% or $1,664,363. Our general fund expenditures are at 30%, just $761,928. Our fire inspection has no change. Our fire inspection expenditures are at 26% or $9,700. Our capital fund revenues, there's no change in our capital fund expenditures, no change. We received a check for using credit cards for over $11,000 from last year. We have had a couple of public records requests this month. Everett German requested a copy of the recordings of all the meetings from May 10th, starting with the training session. And I explained that to Mr. German that we don't keep a digital record, but that they're all online on YouTube. We also received one from John Demick requesting the petition and the minutes concerning the event venue. That's been complete as well. The office in May sent out 1,257 address noncompliance letters. We sent out 291 ditch mowing notices, which made the office pretty busy. The slag, flex patch, crack filling, and snowplow bids have been sent to Supervisor Fisher for review, and we hope to have them noticed on Tuesday. We expect to have them back and on the board for June 28th's meeting for approval. During our liability insurance company came and did a walkthrough, and we had two issues that we needed to address. We were piling wood pallets next to the building, and we had to move those. And then also our gas meter is right on our on the driveway, so they wanted to have some kind of pylons put in, and DPW did a nice job and finished that up for us to the insurance company's satisfaction. I spoke with Gary Bell, the director of the Waukesha County Emergency Preparedness, about the fire study that we've been waiting for. He said it should be out in June, and they're doing their last draft right now. They're expecting to have that out in June, and I've set up for him to come to our June 28th board meeting, as I'll have the report out to you, and he'll be able to answer any questions you may have. Collins Engineering will begin reviewing our bridges again. It's required every year, and the bridges this year that are going to be reviewed are Big Bend Road and Mill Creek, Glendale Road and Pebble Brook, and Big Bend Road and Pebble Brook Creek.
What is that for?
The bridge,
Oh,
the
the
2008
bridges.
bridge inspections.
Good.
I have, oops. If you want to pass these down. I have a sample of a joint plan commission and town board meeting agenda. We saw at the last meeting that it was, we had a lot of people waiting for items. We were hoping to go ahead and do a joint meeting, and if you can see, we take up the item, then it would be a discussion by the plan commission and town board, then possible recommendations for the plan commission, and then a possible action by the town board. And that will allow some of our petitioners that are here for very small items to get in and out, not have to wait for the full plan commission meeting. They'll be able to get back out the door. And so this is a sample. It also includes the Citizen Commons Supervisor Fisher. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. We have 13 non-compliance. They were in your packet. 3 are in court. 3 have been given extensions. One's in their first 30 days. We have 4 that got closed or received their compliance letter, and 2 are on hold. Our computer, our website, our server should be in next week. We received a quote on upgrading our web access for the town hall. And you'll be discussing that later today. Human Resources, Jerry and I interviewed candidates for the part-time DPW seasonal grounds maintenance worker to do town hall work, and we have we've hired a young man named Jeremy Norm. He is a town resident, a West High School graduate. He's currently enrolled at UW Milwaukee, and last summer he did groundkeeper work for the school district. So it was a nice find for us. He will be working afternoons because he's taking some college courses during the day. His expected start date is May 29th, and that's the end of my meeting, my report.
Thank you. Any questions for the clerk?
Just a question or maybe a suggestion, and particularly prompted by looking at this agenda for the meeting on June 14th. I've had a number of residents indicate to me that they don't really know where to find like meeting agenda or that type of thing. I mean, if you know where to find it, you can find it, but you got to dig into it. I'm just wondering if you'd consider a suggestion to take like the agenda for the upcoming meeting and have it right on the homepage or what or not. I mean, particularly look at this meeting's going to start at 6 o'clock rather than our regular 6:30 or what or not. I just wonder if we couldn't make that friendlier for citizens or what or not to find that information rather than having to go into the government and then they have to go into town board or plan commission and have to go into agenda or packet. If we could just put those up right up front, just a thought.
Currently, to get to our agendas, you go into the document center and then it has the town board agenda minutes and packets right there. You're saying they're having difficulty finding the
I know how to
document center?
do that and I do it all the time. All I'm saying is if we want to be user friendly to town residents, I mean, that's great, the historical stuff, but an upcoming meeting, I'm wondering if we could just take and put that right on the homepage, the agenda of the next upcoming meeting.
Okay, I don't have a problem doing that.
Okay.
I do want to let you know that our minutes and agenda program allows residents to be able to sign up, and they get their email whenever I put a packet out or an agenda out. It automatically sends that to the person's email account, so they can be made aware of any time we put something out on the site. So, but I'd be happy to put it in the news area.
And that's great to do that. Maybe we should even, is that thing, or even the thing there that tells people all they need to do is sign up and they can get it automatically?
It's the very first, when you first get in.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Any other questions? Then we can move on to DPW. Supervisor Durr, anything other than what's in our packet?
Not to speak of, I was just going to talk about the new hire, which was an excellent find, but the clerk did a fine job of that in her report. We're making excellent progress on a significant backlog of work with the 2 full-time guys now and bringing in the part-time guy to mostly do ground maintenance around here. Will really free them up to just continue to plow through the work. So you can see the June plans, some color work going on, job orders, tree work, and a couple of installations. One of the issues that did get done was we had extensive discussion late last year about the extension of the gentleman on Charles Drive, and that's been all cleaned up. So making good progress.
Excellent, thank you. And Fire Department, good evening, Chief.
April, we had 26 ambulance requests, 2 motor vehicle accidents, 8 fire responses. Mutual aid was given 4 times, and we had mutual aid 10 times here at our department. 9 of those times were our paramedic joint venture with Vernon. 1 member left the department in April. 2 new members started in April. 1 member went on leave of absence, and a new high school cadet started. We're maintaining 35 members right now, with 2 members on leave of absence, secretary, treasurer, and 3 high school cadets. The next line, there's a little error in my report since we now have 5 people that will be attending Fire One school starting next week instead of 4. 2% dues grant and the EMS funding assistance grant application have both been completed, submitted for 2018. Fire prevention programs were held at Rose Glen School and Prairie School last week, and fire inspections continue for 2018.
Fire One school in the middle of summer, huh? Wow.
They're gluttons for
That's
torture.
commitment.
Any questions for the chief? Thank you.
I do have one question I saw later on here. We're going to be talking about the video equipment and stuff. What's going to become of our cart and our projector and stuff? I mean, we use those things for training in here.
Yes.
It sounds like it's going to go away. So it's
No,
in here.
you can continue with what you do.
Okay. I just had a question about that.
Very good. And then lastly, we have a sheriff's deputy present tonight. Good evening.
So I'm Deputy Zimmerman with Waukesha Sheriff. I'm filling in for Deputy Moose. Some April statistics. We had 68 calls for service, 8 911 hang-up calls, 24 house/building checks, 9 citations, a domestic, and 5 frauds. I think that's all I got for you guys.
Any questions for the deputy? Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. And then we can move on to old business, discussion and possible action on A possible approval of video recording and projection system upgrades. Is there a motion for discussion?
I'll make a motion that we open the discussion on video recording.
And a second. And Madam Clerk.
What we are trying to accomplish here is we are currently having some difficulty with our current system. It's not been 100%. Sometimes it works and sometimes it cuts out while we're sitting in the middle of a board meeting. So what this will do is if we did just the video recording system, we'd be able to have an additional camera set up. We'd be setting up a little bit of a smaller switchboard here so I can work back and forth, and I'd be able to tell if the equipment has shut down for any reason. So with those, so it's essentially an upgrade in quality and an upgrade in another camera. And so that's just the video recording system upgrade. In addition to that, we added, we have a bid on the video projection upgrade of the system. Instead of pulling the card out and pulling down the screen, this would allow us to have the screen available so our residents that are watching online will see what we're doing with the computer. Right now we have the screen set up over on the side, and then the two supervisors can't be seen in the dark. So this will allow us to have all of the
Spend most of my life in the dark.
we'll be able, the residents will be able to see the whole board. It will be a clearer picture. It will allow them to see what we're showing on the screen when we're in the middle of discussion. So, so we have two portions. We could do them both, but I currently only have in my budget the ability to do the video recording, upgrade the video recording system. I do not have in my budget a video projection upgrade. So that's where I'm at.
Thank you for that. That's the first question I had was where is the money coming from? Does the option number one include a forward-facing camera instead of just that rear camera?
That's correct.
Okay.
Question, can we add what is added to the 11,000? Can we add that to the top one without changing anything?
Yes.
I didn't understand what.
If we do the top one, will any of the equipment that we buy for that have to be changed?
Okay,
If we do the second one next year?
understood. Thank you.
Okay.
Got a couple of questions under the boardroom video projection system. The Samsung 75-inch HD video display parens for board members. Where
Right.
is that to be located?
Right on that back wall. So you'll be able to see what our residents are viewing at the time. If you remember when we were at Vernon, they had a screen that the board was able to see what the residents are viewing at the same time. And so if we use that, right now we have the screen here and it's blocking you off. If we put that big screen in the back, you won't get blocked off and you'll be able to see what Sean is projecting onto the, for our residents to view as well as yourself.
So what does anybody in the audience see?
They will
Nothing
see,
unless they turn
yep,
around.
they're going to see, this screen will come down part of the way and they'll be able to see everything displayed right on there. So they won't be looking sideways any longer. They'll be able to see straight ahead and the board
This
members
screen
will be
right
able to
here.
see in the back. Yes. It's actually an automatic and it stops at the right size. We can bring this down more than halfway and it just cuts off a little bit of the top here.
Just another question or so just about the money part of it. Well, I guess 2 or 3 questions, but you mentioned the money for the video recording system in the budget. Is that in a line item or something that's on the operating, or where would the money actually come from?
No, it would come from my expenses column. The town clerk's expenses.
Okay, so you're assuming we'd be underspent that amount for the year?
Well, I will make sure we're underspent so we can do this year.
And I mean, just
I
for,
think it's important enough to get
Yeah.
done so our residents have the ability to see what we're, the whole board meeting without.
I mean, just big picture part of the discussion. A couple of things that I guess I wonder about, and again, I support in concept trying to improve these systems or provide these systems. I think that's a great idea. I mean, I even thought, and I think I might even chatted, there will be some operator interface with this. I mean, there's even a possibility of even getting a student or a town volunteer or something to do it. I mean, appreciate that.
It's an easy enough setup that I can do it right here.
I understand that you can, but all I'm saying is that would even be a possible opportunity if we had somebody really wanted to do it. We're just talking about possibilities. I'm fully supportive of it. I guess a couple of questions I got. I mean, this in total is over $18,000. Have we at all looked at getting other proposals or what or not from other vendors?
Well, what I did was I went with the same vendor that we did our proposals from originally and put in the current system. The idea was to get the video recording updated. The video projection part was a estimate for, so we got an idea of what a projection system would cost. I made the assumption we wouldn't do that this year because we didn't have it in the budget, and that we would be looking for it next year. At that point, we'd be looking at, now we're looking at $11,000 or $12,000 roughly. We'd go out and collect some quotes from additional people.
So your recommendation, you're seeking approval for the first part of it, the first component, to have Metro Sound, I think it is. Basically, we've got their stuff in here. Move ahead with that. And then for another day, the video projection system. And again, I'm just looking at that amount of money. I would certainly support trying to get competitive proposals
Absolutely.
for that. And maybe that should even be considered as a capital expenditure. And I don't think we ever etched it in stone, but at one point in time, I know we did have discussions that at what level of spending should something be considered a capital project. I don't know that we ever put that into a policy. Maybe somebody remembers, but I think for sure we were talking if it's something that's like over 10 grand or something, it probably ought to be a capital project.
Right, and this falls in that, and that's why I brought it forward, so then you could see what it cost. We'll put it in the capital. I'll request for it to be put in the capital budget or projects for future, and it'll be brought up again in July. So right now, I'm just requesting the video recording system to be approved so we can get ourselves up to date and allow our residents to be able to see the full meeting instead of portion.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the clerk?
Just two real quick. So the option for 6320 would allow residents at home to see what's being projected, and it would add a second projector?
Camera,
Camera,
Yes.
excuse me.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
And then the folks at home, you would toggle between the two cameras?
I can toggle between the two cameras and I can toggle to the computer as well.
Just one other question or comment, and if you're not seeking to do the video projection system tonight, that discussion could be for another day, but is a possible alternative in lieu of a 75-inch HD video display. I mean, if that is supposed to be for people at the board table instead of some humongous thing on the back wall there, if it's for people at the board table, is there any possibility there could be small, almost more like individual monitors? Is that an option, or would that be cost effective or not?
When I go out for quotes for that, that's an option. I mean, we can see if that's cost effective or not.
Or maybe you could even ask Metro Sound whether that's a viable alternative or not.
I think the video display was not that costly. That's why we opted for that, but I'd
I
be happy to bring that up as an option.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to authorize the purchase of the boardroom video recording system in the amount of $6,320.
And a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, just one final part of it. Can we include, or just even as a friendly amendment, the source of the funding then is from the town
Clerks.
clerks? I mean, fill in the fund number. when
I
you
can do
put it
that.
Together. Thank you.
Anything further? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. On to B, ordinance 2018-03, rezone for federal others approved on the April 12th, 2018 Plan Commission and Town Board meeting.
Okay, so
Is there a motion to approve? Do we? wait,
I guess
we
I don't
approved it on the-
understand what
we
that
approved it
is.
on the 12th. Why are we
okay,
back
so
on?
that's what I was going to explain.
Go ahead.
We approved the rezone, but I never had a ordinance named on the agenda. So I brought this forward, so we actually had an ordinance for the rezone. We approved the rezone, Plan Commission approved it, and the town board approved the rezone on April 12th. But I didn't have an ordinance on the agenda on April 12th. So this is to get a approval for the ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2018-ORD-03 for the rezone of the Fred Lathers that was approved on April 12th.
And a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. On to C, motion of cross culverts under town, maintenance of cross culverts under town roads. Is there a motion for discussion?
Yes, I have a motion and I have copies of that. I'll pass down the table.
Written motion.
I move to direct the town chairman to instruct the Department of Public Works to prepare a detailed maintenance plan on a culvert by culvert basis for the 74 culverts that are under town roads, which were found to be 25%, 50%, 75%, or 100% filled during the field survey that was conducted by the Department of Public Works last year, and to submit the detailed maintenance plan to the town board at a regularly scheduled meeting of the town board by not later than September 30th, 2018. And I would ask for someone kindly to second that motion so we can continue with discussion.
Is there a second? And the motion will die without a second. We'll move on to new business, discussion and possible action. For Richard Smith, request for a third driveway. Is Mr. Smith here this evening? Good evening.
Good evening.
Is there a motion for discussion?
I'll make a motion that we discuss the third driveway for Richard Smith.
And a second.
Second.
And Mr. Smith, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you're looking for and why?
Okay, well, start off at the beginning. The DPW made a complaint about my property, and ended up that I had after talking to the town chairman, there's a litany of complaints that were made, but after talking to the town chairman, it seems like the big thing is that they don't want some temporary sheds that I put up. Okay, so I was proposing to put up a building at the on the other end of my property so I could use that for storage and not have and take down the temporary sheds. And at this point, I'm at odds with that town code, but they say that there's two culverts or driveways allowed on a street. Well, this is all on MacArthur. I got a corner lot, and the corner lot, the other culverts on the county trunk road. But anyhow, I need the culvert put on the other end of the property so that because I have no access to it other than driving over, putting a driveway through my gardens, which I have 2 garden plots, or over the seepage bed of the septic system. So I need an okay for the culvert to be installed at the other end of my east end of my property, so that I can have access, so the cement mixers and all these other equipment can get in there to put up the building, which I have a building permit for, but I can't get there.
Is the intention to put that driveway in and leave it in?
Yes.
Okay.
And the code is in front of you, and it was interpreted by the attorney as 2 driveways per a property. It does say fronting a street, but yes, every property fronts a street. Doesn't matter if it's on the corner property, but that's how it was interpreted by the attorney. And the code does also provide that the board can waive that, and that's why Mr. Smith is here before us today.
I have another question, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Smith, your intention is to remove the 2 existing, the 2 items that are on the north side of your property that are listed as existing garage?
No, I put up temporary sheds. This is one of them I've had up for years for gardening purposes. I have a 45 by 45 foot garden and another like 30 by 20 foot garden on the property. And I had a lot of gardening stuff in there. And then I've been recycling and repairing stuff out in my driveway right in front of my garage for 52 years now, since I started when I was 8 years old. I was carried home from the hospital to this house, okay? I've been there for in fact, Memorial Day, I'll be there 60 years, okay? But anyway, so I'm always working out in that drive, and I don't know if it's it's been going on a long time, but I think because I got to say the economy got better, people are buying new equipment. They kept dumping stuff on me. Okay, so I was trying to put stuff away, so I bought a temporary structure to be able to put this stuff under cover. And anyways, little did I know that the town doesn't want that temporary structure there. So anyway, so I'm at now I'm at the point where I'm going to put up this building to take down the temporary structures, and so everybody's happy, I guess. But I do believe that one of the reasons why all this stuff is being put on me is years ago the town used to have a facility for people to bring stuff. If they had their old lawnmowers or whatever, they could bring it here and put it, just put it in a big dumpster or whatever and walk away. That's no longer available to people, and so they see me out there working there. I mean, like I say, I've been there forever, and like sometimes I have a real job where I travel the world repairing the Waukesha engines, and sometimes I'll be gone for a month or something. I come back and there's 3-4 pieces of equipment in my driveway that people just left there. I mean, so it just keeps coming in, and now I'm being persecuted for this. It's not a good situation.
So certainly those two existing structures that are on this layout, and I looked on GIS, which is the county-run.
Yeah, those have been there for years and years and years.
Looks like one of them might be on your neighbor's property. Do we?
No, that was hashed over. The neighbor actually, I don't know if you got an old survey, but the neighbor actually has been trouble to me for as long as I think he moved in 72. And he actually put a piece of plumber's pipe in the ground. And when Yankee sent all their the college students around the survey, they accepted that marker, which was a piece of plumber's pipe with the threads on it. And then after that survey went through, then he went to the town to get my garages tore down because the lot line went through the back of the garages. Okay, the garages have always been close to the lot line. Actually, when my father bought the property in '58, I mean that's the way it was. It was, the lot line was right behind the garages, and I'm landlocked. I'd like to have actually made that garage, the main garage, bigger, but I'm landlocked because the code of the 20-foot stipulation doesn't allow me to add on to that. Nobody will let me do that.
So is this legal non-conforming? Is that what this is?
I had a permit to actually not that long ago to when I redid that garage. I put a roof on it.
Yes, I believe you're correct, and he did go through to get his zoning permit from the planner.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for the petitioner? Is there a motion for approval then for a third driveway?
And I'm sorry, you said your intention is to leave it in, right? To become a permanent driveway or no?
Yes, I got it. That's the only way to access to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure. I'll make a motion to approve the request for Mr. Smith on the third driveway.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
All right. The town's attorney or the assistant attorney asked me with this litany of charges that have been placed upon me, he doesn't know what to do with it.
I'm in communication with them.
And it's nothing we can discuss tonight because it's not on the agenda. But if you get with the clerk on Tuesday, because you're not going to be here tomorrow, I assume.
No, I'm not.
Well, he asked me to bring it up, but I don't know.
Who did?
This town's assistant attorney when I seen him in Big Bend.
Yeah, he's not. We can't discuss it if it's not on the agenda.
Anyways,
But get with the clerk on Tuesday, and
It's the 29th.
okay.
Okay.
all right, very good. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
On to B, Diane Voigt, non-compliant property located at South 22 West 25367 Harris Highland. This is a request for extension for various stuff scattered about the property.
I'll make a motion to request I'll make a motion to discuss the request for extension at S22W 25367 Harris Highland Drive.
And a second.
I'll second.
And good evening.
Good evening. My name's Scott Voigt. I'm here on behalf of my mother at this time. When she received the letter, she was actually in either the hospital or rehab. She's 78 years old. She's lived there, I believe, since 1972. I agree. There's way too much stuff on the property. I've been cleaning it up for the last 9 months. When I checked her mail is when I actually found the certified letter, and at that time is when we came in here and made this request for an extension. Since then, I've taken out well over 100 tires off the property, tires, wheels, 13 cars in the last 9 months, and various other
Stuff,
parts.
stuff.
You know, her boyfriend lived there for probably 26 years. He was a car person and saved everything. I mean, I don't know what to say. I've been cleaning, working, keeping the grass mowed all last summer. I had a guy coming in, cutting the grass. I know one thing said that the grass wasn't cut. Well, my neighbor next door wasn't cut neither. The park wasn't cut, and our grass was actually shorter at that time than the county park. And it had just snowed 3 weeks prior to that. So we're just asking for an extension to keep on going.
What kind of time frame do you think you'll need to complete it? And you have made vast improvements.
I would say, what do you think?
Well, the hardest thing is the RV. We have to find,
Right. We tried giving it away and can't give it away.
so we have to find somebody to haul it out. I don't know. For the outside, we're talking the outside to get everything cleaned out, maybe a few more months.
I would say 2.
Yeah, we're really working on it.
I have to dig it out. It's sunk into the ground. It's been sitting there for 20 years now.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we grant a 60-day extension.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain? And motion carries. On to 10, accounts payable, authorization for payment of the bills in the amount of $45,450.17.
Move we pay that amount?
And a second.
I'll second.
And Madam Clerk, a roll call vote?
Chairman Merrick,
Aye.
Supervisor Fisher,
Aye.
Supervisor Durr,
Aye.
Supervisor Radke,
Aye.
Supervisor Wolf.
Aye. Motion carries. And does anybody want to make a motion for adjournment?
I'll make it.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, it's been ordered a month ago. Has it been ordered?
No, you're not.
I put the order in and stuff to Kathy. Yes, they've been ordered. The sign. Has the order gone in?